Hey guys, back with a new math YouTube video for you on how to represent your data. So we've gone over this in class, but I thought I'd do another example that you could watch anytime. So here's the data set I gathered, and by gathered I mean made up. But I'm pretending that I talked to some 7th graders and I asked them how many hours they spent playing an instrument each week. So this, when we're representing this type of data, this is quantitative data because the answers are numbers that I can measure. One type is the box and whisker plot. That's what we've been practicing in class. So the first thing you need to do is take your data and order the data values from least to greatest. So I'm going to take the smallest data values and put them on the left and grow bigger. So I've already done that on another sheet. So I've taken my data from whatever I had written down, and I have put it in order. So the reason we put it in order is that it helps us to find the middle value of our data, because we know that we're working with the median, which means the value in the middle. All right, so to figure out which number is in the middle, which number is my median, I am going to just count in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Okay, so when I count in towards the middle, I end up with 2 values in the middle. To figure out what the median is, I have to average that, because here is my middle. So I'm going to do 2 plus 2.5 divided by 2 to find the median. So that's going to be 2.75 as my median. Sorry, 2.25 as my median. Then I'll find my quartiles. So that means the first quarter of the data falls below that number, quartile 1, and then the quartile 3 is 3/4 of the way through the data. So starting to the left of my median, I'll count into the middle of that lower chunk. And I end up with 1 as my Q1. And then to find Q3, I do the same thing with the higher chunk, and I just count in. 2.5, 3.5 right there is Q3. So what do these numbers mean? We mean the number directly in the middle of our data. The middle value would be 2.25. 25% of our data is less than 1. 75% of our data is less than 3.5. And if we wanted Q4, this would be that number 9, the top value of the data, and that would be 100% of our data is less than that number. So let's keep filling in our different parts. So our least value is 0, and our greatest value is 9. So that means our range, how spread apart our data is 9 minus 0, which is 9. We have a range of 9. That means that the students in the 7th grade vary by at most 9 hours difference in how much time they spend playing an instrument. Then down here I have my IQR, which is another value that talks about how spread apart the data is. But this is talking about just the middle 50% of the data. The most typical people would fall in that middle 50%, and we just want to know how spread apart that is compared to our full range. So to do that, we do Q3, which is 3.5, and we subtract the value for Q1. And when I do that, I get 2.5. So the people in the middle 50% of our data, they only vary by 2.5 hours at most. To make a box and whisker plot, I need a number line. And what I'm going to do is since my numbers go from 0 to 9, I think I could probably do 2 spots for every number. but let me check that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, I had to get to 18 because I was counting by halves. So that would require 18 spaces going from 0 to 9. So this will be 0, and this would be 0.5. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And all of those ones in between, those are the halves. So I have a 2.5 data, I'll write 2.5 in here. And I also have a 3.5. Okay, now for our box and whisker plot. So for our box and whisker plot, we start with the box, and I like to start in the very center. So my median is at 2.25. So 2.25 is right here, in between 2 and 2.5. I'll just write it above so I can see it. And I'm going to put a line above 2.25, and I'm going to put an M at the top of that line to represent median. That's going to be the middle of my box. At Q1, I will draw a line, and Q1's value is 1, so I'll put a line above 1, and I'll write Q1. And then above Q3, 3.5. And then I will make my box. So this box here represents the middle 50% of the data. The typical average 7th grader would fall somewhere in between this range here, between 1 and 3.5 hours playing an instrument each week. The next thing I'll do is I will put a dot for the whisker above 0, which is where my lowest point is, and I'll draw the line. And then I'll put a dot above 9 way up here, and I'll draw the line all the way to 9. So here I have just created the box and whisker plot for my data about how many hours are spent playing an instrument every week by 7th graders, and I will do a separate video to talk about how to describe that data.